Hello YouTube, what is up? Back with another video, and today, it's about that time of year. Yes, the Super Bowl's over, spoiler alert, the Chiefs won, and now we are going to the worst things I said before the season started. These are my pre-picks. I didn't see anything yet, and then we went into it, and I'm like, oh, I was wrong. Now, before we begin, I need to highlight, I'm a big Trey Lance guy, obviously, but I do not predict injuries. I cannot predict injuries. He may have still been on track to win MVP like I predicted. So he's not going to be making this list because he got injured. Any injured players that actually made a big deal, like if they were on pace to be bad, like for example, Allen Robinson, it didn't matter if he got injured or not. He was horrible. So I'll add him to this list if he got injured. But if someone got injured in week 1 or week 2, how am I supposed to predict that? Now let's begin though. Now, honorable mention. We're going bottom to top. Why take tight ends, I said, why would you ever take Travis Kelce round 1? And I could not understand why you take Kelce round 1. I said you should take robust running back. Robust running back means you go running back, running back, running back, running back. And you take 4 running backs. It depends on the league, obviously. But overall, you take 4 running backs. 4. And then you're never going to be bad on running backs because running back, in my eyes, it still is the most important position in fantasy football. Even if you're in a 2 QB league. I am in some weird leagues, I admit, where you don't have any pickups and stuff like that. Then it matters to get a QB, but besides that, if you have pickups, it's not that important, I said. So you need running backs because there's no good running backs on waivers. And I was wrong. If you took Kelce, you had a good chance of winning your league over doing what I said. Like, I was saying take Justin Jefferson. I mean, just don't take a tight end, I said. And I was wrong. There were good tight ends this year. For example, if you got something like Evan Ingram, like super late in the draft, you had a good chance to win your league. Now, number 10. Saquon Barkley. Oh boy, I hate to say this, won't be a top 10 running back. Now, why is this 10? There's going to be some things that are a bit less stupid and that are about this. It's because he kept getting injured, and I was scared of his injury status. If you get injured like every year for the past 3 years, it's going to look bad. And I just said it. I predicted it was going to look bad. Some people predicted it was going to look bad too. Obviously, looking back, I look like an idiot, but some people did agree with this. Some did. And overall, if you said this, you were incorrect, obviously. There's no debate. The Giants had a great year. They made the playoffs. Obviously, they lost. But the fact that they won, they made the playoffs, and then they won against the Vikings is a huge accomplishment. And about 90% of that we can give to Saquon Barkley. Number 9. Michael Pittman is not top 5. Oh. Now, people may ask, did you actually predict this? Yeah, I did. I took him over Tyreek Hill in a lot of drafts. And looking back on that was a horrible strategy to do. Like, a lot of people passed on Tyreek Hill. I passed on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is just not a popular play. But he was a great wide receiver this year. Did he do better than Justin Jefferson? There's a debate. I don't think he did, but there's a debate that can be made. And I took Michael Pittman over him. And what I thought is, well, you have a healthy Jonathan Taylor who does not get injured. He ended up getting injured, obviously. And then he got injured. And Matt Ryan's horrible, quite honestly. And then, like, you don't have a starting QB on your team. You bench Matt Ryan, and then it just doesn't work. The whole game there got messed up. Then they got Jeff Saturday, and that was a whole mess. And now they're trying to get someone else for Jeff Saturday. And that's a whole mess. And I was wrong. Now, number 8. Bengals missed the playoffs. Now, nobody was really saying this. This was just a me thing. I obviously hate the Bengals. I hate them. I hate the Bengals and I hate the Bills. And there's good reason why. Every fan happens to be a bandwagon if you're a Bengals or a Bills fan. I've never really met a Bengals fan who's like, oh, I've been a Bengals fan for 5 years. This was more due to my personal bias with the Bengals, which is why I'm going in depth about this. But this was incorrect. The Bengals made the playoffs, and it had nothing to do with these fans that are all bandwagon. And that was my fault. I took too much of my personal bias and stuck it into my NFL takes. It doesn't work sometimes when you do that. Number 7. Yes, I faded Josh Jacobs in drafts. I was a big fan of take 4 running backs at the beginning, like I was saying, robust running back, and then don't touch another running back for the rest of the draft. And I said, round 8, you take Josh Jacobs. Round 7, you're taking Josh Jacobs. Why would you do that when you can put Michael Thomas into the equation? Put, for example, Brandon Ayuk into the equation. And I'm like, no, there's better guys in round 7. Even, for example, I was taking Trevor Lawrence in round 7 of drafts. I did say you need to take someone else who's not Josh Jacobs. Was taking Trevor Lawrence the correct move? No, because Josh Jacobs was out. But Trevor Lawrence was not a bad pick either. But really, when Josh Jacobs is on the board, you need to take him. And Josh Jacobs is definitely going to be a top 5 running back going in the next season. Number 6. I was wrong about the Seahawks in general, but I was also wrong about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and I owe them an apology. I've hated them since I can remember. I've hated DK, and I've hated Tyler Lockett. And the reason is, I don't like either of the playing styles. Like, Tyler Lockett, come on. I'm a big fan of 49ers style. You get yards after the catch. And when you don't get yards after the catch, there's an issue. And Tyler Lockett causes that issue. And DK Metcalf, he's so strong, but he's not even a good route runner. And I still am holding on to that idea. You need to be a good route runner to play in the NFL. And he's still not, but they're still great players in general. And I was incorrect due to my playing style, and they play a whole different way than I'm ever used to. Number 5. Saints top 7 offense. Now, number 1, part of the issue why this is so high is I hate Alvin Kamara. I didn't think he would be top 15, which, don't get me wrong, I may put in my right video. When I'm going to make my right video, that may make the video. But the issue is, I thought it was going to be Jameis Winston is great. Jameis Winston knows how to throw the ball downfield. I thought he was great at throwing the ball downfield. And really, you have Michael Thomas and Chris Olave to carry this offense. And I really did like the offensive line just statistically going into this. But overall, the whole thing crumbled. Jameis Winston had an injury. And he's so bad. When he came back, Andy Dalton took the job. How does that happen? I don't know. Number 4. This is really bad, I have to admit. Chase Edmonds, top 15 running back. I was high on Chase Edmonds before this year. I was really high on Chase Edmonds before this year. This guy was like my dad, I have to say. Basically, I said, you just take him. For example, this was the guy, I take the 4 running backs, and this was always my 5th running back in drafts. And I didn't even expect a second running back to come into this equation. He was very, very, very mediocre this year, or below mediocre, you can say. And part of the issue is that, this isn't the reason why he was bad, but they got Jeff Wilson from the Niners. Kyle Shanahan's crying. It's chaos. And Jeff Wilson became a great starting running back at the end of the season, and that really killed Chase Edmonds, and he was dead for the next 6 games. And I really think that's an issue with this whole thing. Number 3, I was wrong about 1 Seahawks pick. I'm wrong with 2. The Seahawks were not going to win a game, I predicted. Did they have a losing record? Yes, but they won 8 games. They almost made the playoffs. They were an inch away from winning the playoffs. From making the playoffs, yes. Winning the playoffs. And guess what? They made the playoffs. That was confusing, the last sentence I said. They made the playoffs. They were like an inch away. They weren't going to make the playoffs. What the actual heck is that? So they made the playoffs. And that was a whole mess. And I was wrong. Like, come on. Like, I hate the Seahawks. They may be my least favorite team, and I hated them. I didn't think they were winning a game, but apparently Geno Smith became top 10. You have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who are both, arguably, I think they are actually both top 20 wide receivers. And on the defensive side of the ball, you have cornerbacks somehow making the Pro Bowl, which is insane. Number 2. This is a Broncos one. I was not super high on the Broncos, but I was high on their receiver, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was my favorite wide receiver to target in drafts. He was statistically the guy who I got the most. And the thing about Jerry Jeudy, as I said, there's always this cut check, and you call it the cut check. This was a thing before the year. I don't know if they'll call it this coming into this year. It's where you have some garbage guy, and I'm not saying Jerry Jeudy was garbage, but he was extremely bad. So what you're basically doing is you're finding someone like Cooper Kupp, who was really bad, and you think they'll become the next Cooper Kupp. So obviously Cooper Kupp was the Cooper Kupp of this. And then this year, I thought Jerry Jeudy was that guy going into this. Who was that? I think maybe A.J. Brown. I think there were multiple things that could be argued. But Jerry Jeudy being top 3 is pretty absurd. And I think that made me look like an idiot this year. And especially because I thought Courtland Sutton would also be top 15. And obviously having 2 wide receivers like that could kill. And that obviously means I thought they would make the playoffs, which is a whole thing. So I have 3 takes in one that all did not work out. Horrible take on my part. And number 1, my worst take of the whole year, and also it's not Trey Lance because he got injured, we went over this. Derrick Henry, 3.2 yards per carry. Who did I compare him to again? I compared him to Royce Freeman. Who is Royce Freeman, you may ask? We do not talk about that. But I compared him to Royce Freeman. I said he would have 3.2 yards per carry. He had 4.4. I gotta show this now. 4.4 yards per carry. I don't know if the camera can see this. So he had 4.4 yards per carry and 1,538 yards. Second in the NFL for rushing behind Josh Jacobs. And keep in mind, he was out of the game, which is a big deal. He was out of the game. That's just, it's a whole mess. And Derrick Henry, I apologize to you. You were getting older, and you looked like a joke for some of that last season. But overall, the message I took out of this is even though a running back's getting super old, they're not going to digress as crazy as sometimes I think they will. Signing off, it's the BKR channel. Please subscribe, like this video, comment, and you're about to see top 10 things I was right about because I'm not always wrong. Peace out.